Hey, I'm Tom,
And I'm Josh.
and this is the Blockcast.
We're Lego fans. Click.
Welcome back, everybody, to the ultimate Lego Leaderboard.
Board.
If you haven't seen us before, what we do is we take a Lego set, we put it through a rigorous 15 different categories, where each category gets 20 points each, potentially totaling 600 points. And then at that point, once it gets its final total with Josh's 300 points and my 300 points in total, it goes on the ultimate Lego Leaderboard.
Yes. And what's
Board.
going to be extra exciting about this week is that we at the Blockcast are going to have a ball.
I see what you did there. I see what you did there. Because this week we are talking about the minifigure vending machine. 21358. Now remember, if you want to follow along and do our categories with us, let us know in the comments down below what your total points are. Just screenshot our spreadsheet that we'll show you in just a minute, and you'll get to see where it ranks amongst Josh and myself. Let me go ahead and start sharing that page now, um, so you can see what we can see.
All right. So we are talking about ideas set 21358, the minifigure vending machine released last year. This was, as you can see, part of the ideas series, which are, for those of you who haven't watched the Blockcast or know nothing about Lego, a theme, if you will, where all of the ideas are submitted by users. They come up with concepts, they build a model, it goes through a rigorous test where the public votes and supports certain sets. It goes to review once it reaches 10,000, and then it might be made into an official Lego set, as was Minifigure Vending Machine.
Correct. With that being said, we've picked out Lego Vending Machine because we both thought it was actually quite fun. In terms of the build itself, we haven't seen in my existence with Lego. I don't think they've ever built any type of like vending functional vending machine type set yet. Not that I know
No,
of.
this one I think is entirely unique, and it's a lot of fun. It's a cool display piece, and in addition to that, it kind of honors the history of the Lego company, which we'll kind of get into as we go through the reviews, the ratings.
Now, if you're unfamiliar, let me go ahead and take you to where we review it. Now, you're probably wondering why. Um, Sorry. So now that we are in the sheet, let me fill you in a little bit if you haven't been here in a little while on how the Ultimate Lego Leaderboard works. We talked about the point system, but if you take a look, we have our categories, then we have our description and the point value. We're not going to go through everything in the categories and description. You're more than welcome to screenshot, pause the video, and go ahead and write all this stuff down or copy and paste. These are what we evaluate each set on. We realize that you could like a set, but do you really like the set? That's the question. That's what we're trying to answer here. And this is where the ultimate Lego board comes in. It breaks down a set to the point where we thought we might like the set, and in the end, we didn't like it as much as we thought.
True, and sometimes the results are quite surprising, and even more so, our difference in opinion is quite evident as we take a look at some of our pre-filled ratings here. We can see there's already a disparity of about half between Tom's initial selections and mine. Now, the reason we pre-select some of these categories is it may just not be as interesting to talk about for this particular set, and also we are okay, I'll be completely frank. We'd like to talk.
Yeah.
And if we were to talk about all of these, the ultimate Lego leaderboard would leave you ultimately bored. So we pre-fill out some of these. We talk about the more interesting aspects. But if you have any questions about why we rated it as such, please go ahead, leave comments below, and we'll be happy to explain a little bit further. Think of it as a little bit of BTS, behind the scenes look here at the Blockcast.
Podcast. Now, before we deep dive into our breakdown of the set, I just want to let you know, if you haven't seen it, this currently is where our sets sit. Total points, remember you can have a total point value of 600 points. You have the Tudor Corner as our, right now, our current leader, with Snow White following
Rightfully
up in
so.
second with 382, and the Endurance with 343. Yes, Josh,
Memories.
right? And look at that Twilight Cullen house. If you haven't seen the episode, go back, check it out. Josh was
It's
surprised at
top.
his results.
It's top five.
For now. Okay, so let's talk about we have our design. I gave it a 12, to be honest. It's a capsule machine. There were no stickers, there were no pre-printed bricks. That's why I rated it a 12.
I ranked it a little bit higher. I think the design is very solid. I think it is well built, well put together. There are some printed bricks. In addition to the minifigs, there's coins that you can get with it as well. I think overall the design is very solid. I gave it a 17.
Build experience, it's very repetitive. It's a circular cylindrical structure. Wow, that was a triple S. No,
I
cylindrical
think
is
they're
a
C's.
C. Hmm, I got that wrong. It is a cylindrical structure where a lot of it is just the probably the really the only challenging part is the mechanism that allows uh, the capsules to come out of the machine. So the reason I gave it a 7 is that the build experience is not as challenging as it could be compared to other sets.
Yes. And I gave it a 10. I gave it a little bit more because the I could not, for the life of me, until I had it built, figure out how the contraption, the mechanism actually functioned. So I found that to be interesting. However, this comes with 16 little capsule balls that were not fun to put together at all, while keeping the pieces inside of them. It was like Tom said, very repetitive, so it did not get a high build rating for me.
All right, we're both at 0 on playability. This is the where the truth is told. Playability, Josh.
Yes.
Thoughts?
I think that this set has tremendous playability from a couple of different aspects. One, the mechanism itself. It is fantastic. If I may demonstrate, because I do happen to have minifig vending machine here. So you can try to turn the knob and it doesn't work because you haven't inserted your money. So once you take your money, you place it in the slot. Can't see. There we go. Now your knob will turn. And with that, the ball comes out. And your coin is dispensed so you can go again and again. Now, so for playability, I think that's really cool. That's a neat interactive aspect. And then you have the capsules themselves. Each ball comes with an exclusive minifigure that you get in the set. It ranges, we'll talk more about the minifigures later, but there's a lot of variety there. In addition to that, this we have found in our household to be a great method of uh, selecting movies, right? So it's not just minifigures that you can put in the balls, you can do other things as well. So we write down movies that we're interested in, slips of paper, shake it up, put some money in, and we find out what our pick is for that night. So far, it has granted us the ability to watch Howard the Duck, Apollo 13, and a wide variety of other movies, some better than others. But because of the function, because of the mechanism, it's a really novel, a really fun way that it is not just a display piece. There is a lot of, I think, playability and a lot of interactive aspect to this particular set. I'm going to go ahead and say that my score here is going to be an 18.
Wow, you went high. You
I
went
did.
very high.
I did.
Okay. My playability score is a little bit different. I have to think of it not from necessarily my perspective as where I am in my life. I think about it from the perspective of if you are 3, if you are 7, if you are 13, 18, 25, 35, 45, 80. Unless you're like Dick Van Dyke, now he's too old for Lego.
That's just that thing.
I know, he grew out of it. 100 years old, can't play with Lego anymore. I look at it from an adult perspective. It's nice to put on a shelf. It has great display ability. That's why you'll see in a little bit that I gave it a higher score than what I'm going to give playability. Playability, I think, from granted, this set is for what, 13 plus, 10 plus,
I think
something,
it's 18.
18.
Ideas typically are 18 plus.
So you got to think of the age range here. That typically, when it comes to mock builds and what have you, is that you got to look at the pieces and components of the playability and how often are you going to refill these capsules with the minifigures. And as Josh mentioned before, how easy was it to put the capsules together, Josh?
That was not super fun.
So this is the playability question that I have for you. How often would you refill the capsules with minifigures to do this again and again at your age?
With minifigures, not super duper often,
No. This is where my
but
playability
other
score
things.
comes in terms of like specifically for Lego, in terms of playability, sitting on the floor and playing with it, or having an adventure with it, or having company over and doing it in that fashion. The playability, I think, is can you make it fly? Can you think about different ideas? Josh's idea is brilliant with choosing movies. I love it. But at the end of the day, beyond that, it's I think it's more so for display purposes. I think
You
it'd
could
be pretty
juggle.
cool if you could recapsule all the minifigures for the different series that come out. So you can put them in the capsules, not look, and then each and every day, get a new minifigure so you can get that playability. But in terms of replayability, I see you playing with it once, twice, three times. But beyond that and breaking it down being so expensive, you're not going to take these pieces and put them in a box and mix them with other things and build something else. You're just not going to for an 18 plus set. So in terms of playability, my score is going to be a 9. Yeah, I'm going that low.
Okay. All right.
I don't see the replayability with this set. I see it more as a display piece, and you get the first fun out of it from the first 16 goes, and then being done with it.
That's fair.
Hey, this is
But
what the Blockcast is about. Josh views it in a different perspective. I have a different perspective, and this is where it makes it fun. If you have a
yeah,
different opinion, please share it down below. This is how it goes. I'm not trying to be mean to anybody. That's this is how I see it. When we get to display ability, you'll hear my opinion on it, and it'll be very, very positive.
but is your opinion positive for the value
Oh.
for the money? I have a hunch I know where this one's going
All
because I
right.
think we might be on the same page.
Value for money. If you look at it, where are we? Lego Vending Machine. It is one
$180.
$180 for 1,343 pieces, which roughly adds to 13 cents per piece.
But you do get two 10-cent pieces, so that helps recover some of
Oh
that
boy,
cost.
Josh. Um, so in my opinion, the value here. Did they give you a variety of selection of minifigures? Yes, I think they did a good job. They gave you knights, they gave you astronauts, they gave you characters with like animal heads on them. They gave you some things like a lady building a house and ice cream, and I felt like they gave you a variety of different choices when it came to the minifigures, and this is where the value of the set is. The idea as well as the mechanism that goes inside of it, but to be honest, since it is a non-intellectual property or IP set, I don't understand why it's 13 cents per piece. There's nothing that should make the set cost that much compared to like a set like Dungeons and Dragons where you do the breakdown and it's 9 cents per piece for an intellectual property set. It's interesting. This is I think one of the first sets that we've reviewed where Lego is charging 13 cents per piece outside of an intellectual property. We've mostly seen this with Harry Potter and Star Wars. In terms of value for money, if you're a minifig collector, you love these minifigures. They're very exclusive to this set, so I understand why you would buy this. But in terms of value for money, I really don't see it. I'm going
Yeah,
to give it like a midpoint at 11.
interesting. I'm actually going to take it a little bit lower. Even though I do thoroughly enjoy the set, I do love it. The price point is still really high. If you consider the minifigs, you do get 16 minifigures with this, which is a little bit higher than a normal CMF series. So, for those of you who don't know what CMF is, click to build minifigures. Typically, there's about 12 in any given series. So, this one has more. These retail at about $5 each. So, just on the minifigures alone, if we went by that same kind of um, pricing structure, $80 of this $180 set is the minifigures alone.
Mm.
Okay, that's fair. It's a good variety, like Tom said. A lot of that, I think that works. But that means that the substructure, the vending machine itself, is $100, and that does not compute. It is very high for a pretty repetitious build. A lot of balls. Again, the ball components I think is probably what's driving this price up, because for mocks, those are not particularly common pieces, and they do have a lot of use elsewhere. But I can only imagine that's where most of the cost here. So for value for money, for what it is, I think it could very easily be $50 cheaper than what it is. I'm going to go ahead and say 8.
8. Okay. Oops. All right. Nostalgia, personal attachment, Josh.
Yeah.
How nostalgic
So
are you with this vending machine?
I'm pretty nostalgic. I mean, I was one of those kids that every time we go to the supermarket, I would beg for a quarter so that I could, use the vending machine things to get a gumball or a little toy or something like that, and was oftentimes told no. Um, so the nostalgia here is I own it now, so I don't have to have permission to use the vending machine. But it does kind of recall those moments from my childhood of going shopping with my parents and wanting something, always being delighted and surprised at whatever it was that I would got, or not surprised if I got the same thing over and over and over again. Um, I think it has a very sleek design. I think it kind of captures a certain style that evokes a time period that I connect with. So I'm going to go ahead and say 15.
Oh, wow. You went extremely high.
Mhm.
All right, I'm going to be a little bit different here. Don't get me wrong. I was the same kind of kid. I wanted the small toy that could choke me to death. Ha 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 ha, because there was never a warning on those machines. I
And
digress. But the
no, kids
toys
were
were
smarter
always
back
so
then.
small, though. And I was like 4. I mean, I could have, never mind. To be honest, Lego, if you're listening, you could actually make Lego vending machines with minifigures at supermarkets. You know how many people would buy them for $5? A lot. Cut me in on that.
There's the real Lego idea.
I was more so like I like the stickers, when you put in the 4 quarters and you jam them in and it gives you like a sticker. I like those. Those were a lot of fun. You get a little card or something. Uh, it wasn't like my all-time favorite thing. I was more so a claw machine child. I
Uh,
loved claw machines. That's where my
I I think a Lego club machine would be great.
right? Again, Lego, hook us up. But to be honest, I don't have as much nostalgia or personal attachment to this set. I think it's cool. I think it's fun. It does remind me of my childhood, but not enough to make it like I need to go out and buy this set. So I'm gonna give it a 6.
Okay.
Yeah.
I forgot to mention as well, the minifig selection are representative of past Lego themes, but I did not grow up with the original Space guy. I did not grow up with the original. I had Castle series, so those worked for me. But the Fabuland collection, um, There was only one pirate representation, and pirates was my theme. But no
And
Wild West,
Western.
so none of the themes that I tended to play with. So the minifigs, while awesome in their own right and a walk through Lego history, didn't mesh with me. So that's why it didn't go even higher than the 15.
All right, we are now on minifigures.
Great segue. Uh, Despite what I just said, I think this is a great selection of minifigs. For the average person, I think that if you ask any 1 out of 5 people, they will have no idea what Fabuland is. But we've talked on the Blockcast before how with the C maps and different things like that, we like the costumes. So seeing a bear head, seeing the elephant head, those are fun, right? Spacemen, always adorable. What I think is really cool, the person building the house has the Ideas logo. I believe that is representative of the original designer. So I think it's really cool that there is a nod to the creator, that they were made into Lego form, minifigure form, and included with the set. But I think overall it is a very good selection of a lot of fun characters with some great accessories included in.
So, where does it go?
I'm gonna say 13.
Ah, okay. A little bit
Yeah.
low.
There, like I said, before my personal attachment, there are some missing themes. Again, no Wild West. We don't see any of the um some of the big sets from the 90s, right, are not represented here. Um, and we do have two duplicates of the spacemen, and then the little alien squid guy, and the knight.
Oh, yes,
So
yes.
there's four duplicates. So that's four additional options that could have been
Other
some
things.
other
Hmm.
characters included.
So, in terms of my minifigure review, I'm going to base it more so in line with the Blind Box CMF series. In theory, I believe like they took the CMF box series and were like, what if we made it into a set? That we then made people buy this $180 set to get these exclusive minifigures. Yes, there are duplicates, but we haven't seen these characters anywhere else. So they're going to have to buy it in order to complete their collection. My more so my opinion on the minifigures in this set is, as we talked about before, is what gives it its value. This is what they're banking on. If they didn't have these figures or minifigures in this set, the set couldn't hold its own. We haven't seen these characters specifically released before, but in terms of people that like the space theme, people that like knights, people that like that alien squid guy, especially the astronauts. The astronauts, from what I understand, were the big ones because I think the teal hasn't been released as a color in terms of astronauts. If you're unfamiliar, people who collect the astronaut minifigures, apparently they've released a whole bunch of different colors, and this was people collect them specifically all the way from the first 1970 something set,
I
the
think
blue
some.
astronaut,
Hmm.
but the teal astronaut, I think they released a gold. I'm not sure. But these colors were what people wanted in terms of the astronauts to add to their collections, which they released in these sets. So that's what also gave it a little bit of buying power. They're unique. They're somewhat different. Granted, we've had a minifigures CMF series that now has animal heads and animal bodies, so it diminishes. But at the time when this came out, it was a little bit different. Um, so in terms of minifigures, I do think they are a little bit more exclusive to this set. That's what gives it their value. That's what makes people want to buy the set. Yes, people like vending machines, but it's really for the minifigures. I'm gonna give it 16. Yeah.
Okay.
And I think the astronaut is really what's pulling it for me. Innovation.
Innovation, there isn't anything like this already. The mechanism that we demonstrated is very unique. It's very clever. The fact that the knob won't turn unless the money is in there, I think is a really neat feature. It's a very smooth mechanism. It's very seamless. I've played with it a lot and it has not gotten stuck. Um, it's a very clever idea. It's a very good use of the Lego ideas to kind of source those ideas and those themes. I'm gonna say innovation is gonna be pretty high. I'm gonna say 17.
Wow. Okay. So for me, innovation, as he talked about the knob, the only innovative things that I've seen, I don't think I've ever seen these capsules before in any other set. Not that I can think of. Have you?
There have been some other sets that have used the ball, the same pieces basically as a ball component.
Okay.
It's been representative in a Technic set where the ball is planet Earth. It's been used a
Yes, yes,
number of
yes.
different ways and things like that. But as far as a capsule, I have not seen it used in that way.
And the only other thing that is probably unique, as Josh said, is the mechanism that allows the ball and the coins to turn within the interior. There's really no uniqueness to the build on the exterior. Not to be mean, but it is quite plain. If anything, we could have added maybe a little bit of whether it be stickers or printed brick, but that's me overanalyzing. So for innovation, I'm gonna give it mid. I'm gonna go with a 10. We have durability. I gave it a 14. To be honest, I think if you push this off a shelf, I think it would hold together pretty well. The capsules seem relatively strong. It doesn't seem like you have to open them like with whatever have you, but I do see that when you open the capsules, you can have pieces fly everywhere, especially if you're under the age of 18 and you're not paying attention. But yeah, I
Yeah.
gave it a 14.
Yeah, I gave it a little bit higher again. I gave durability an 18. It is a very solid structure. As I mentioned, I've played with it a lot. I've had no faults, no getting stuck, nothing of that nature. There is some concern of, with so many loose components that they do go missing, but I don't think that necessarily takes away from the set design itself, as that kind of is representative of small toys in general. You could say that of really any set, unless you're, physically taking the balls apart, they're not going to just fly open necessarily and send those pieces away. So I said 18.
Displayability. I'm going to start with this one because I did mention it before. Compared to playability, which I gave a 9, displayability, I gave a 16. This looks great on a shelf. Whether you keep the minifigures in the capsules or not, displaying them around the machine, putting this on the bookshelf, lighting it up a little bit, this would be great. Especially like let's say you have kids or you have somebody come over and you're like, "Oh, go ahead and like turn it and pull one, see what you get." I think it has great displayability. And I went ahead and I gave it 16.
I agree. Basically the same reasons. I did give it 18. I think that the color choice helps it stand out. It's bright red, so it's hard to miss. So you walk into a room, immediately your eyes are drawn to the bright red. But I think there's also something that's very compelling about the clear pieces as well, that kind of draws the eye. It's the absence of color or the fact that you can see the color inside, but it because there is not a lot going on to it, kind of counter to Tom's previous point, no stickers, anything like that. It's clean. It's got great displayability. 18.
Team representation. This is me being like maybe kind of dumb, but yeah, I only see two themes. One, theme representation of capsule machines or machines mechanics in general and or CMF series secretly disguised as a set. Let me know in the comments down below like what I'm not seeing, but I gave it a 4 because I don't see it. Either you're a fan of vending machines or you're a fan of the CMF series.
I went the opposite direction of that. I think that as this is an idea set, it is a great use of the ideas line to come up with something different, right? We have castles, we have spaceships, we have every other kind of thing in the Lego world represented in some shape, form, or fashion. We don't have a vending machine that could only, because there isn't more to that, it's perfect for ideas. It's a one-off, and I think that's what ideas is supposed to represent. It's one-off ideas that don't fit anywhere else. So I think its originality, its uniqueness makes it a wonderful representation for the ideas theme 18.
18. Part selection, I gave it a 6. Besides the Technic parts and the capsules, I really didn't see the uniqueness of the parts that were used. Besides the mechanism to make the Technic work, but Technic in general, like if you look at the Pac-Man set, that
Hmm.
is ridiculous the way they have to Technic that. But if you look at the mechanism compared to the capsule machine, it's good, but it doesn't it does what it's supposed to do. But I didn't see anything like extra that made it different.
Yeah, not so much from exclusive elements and things like that. I ranked it a little bit higher with part selection because I think that there is a lot of potential for mocks, especially with these clear pieces. It's great for aquarium. It's great for any number of things. They're a wider, clear window piece than we've seen in other things. There's a lot of potential for the balls, the accessories. I think it's got a great variety of things that are very ideal uh, for mocks.
We now have our instruction quality. So you have your traditional where you meet the fan designer. They talk a little bit about the concept. Um,
So I was right. The fan designer is one of the minifigs. It's actually not the lady with the idea shirt. Don't quite understand that, but that's okay.
um, so you have your introduction to the set, which is cool. It talks about the mechanism and how it functions. But from the go forward, it is a standard traditional instruction set that walks you through just how to build without any fun quips. You get the little minifigure walking across, which is the Lego designer, but you don't get any fun quips about the idea of in certain sections or what we've seen in other sets as well. So, Josh, what would you rate the instructions on this one?
So I think there's definitely something lacking. I do appreciate in all of the 18 plus that they have those extra blurbs at the beginning that kind of walk through the set and talk through it and stuff. However, it is missing huge potential to talk through the history of the minifigures. When you're building them, why is there not a blurb of when it was first introduced or what it represents? Um, there's not a whole lot of other kind of little blurbs that it could use, but I think since it is a walk through Lego history, including those minifigures would have been great. So I'm gonna rank the instructions actually pretty low. I'm gonna say 7.
Yeah, I'm in that ballpark as well. I do like that we find a little bit about the creator, the ideas of the machine, the innovativeness of the mechanism itself. And you said 7, correct?
I said 7.
I'm gonna share that 7 with you. Um, just because I think they, as you said, they could have not just with the minifigures as well, but you could have also talked about maybe a little bit of the history of, and it's gonna sound silly, but I like how mechanisms and things come to be, but maybe a little bit of the history of like those kind of vending machine toys, because that's pretty cool that you took something that was
Yeah,
functional in the real world made out of steel, metal, and plastic, and you made it out of Lego. I would have loved to know a little bit of background of that too, but that's me asking a lot.
yeah,
We have our expansion potential. I gave it a 2 because unless you start to build other vending machines, the expansion potential is like a CMF series where you get more minifigures, but that's essentially a CMF series. But I don't see where they take like they could take the vending machine and try to build a soda machine, but can you imagine like how many pieces and how much that would cost in Technic? So that's why I gave it a 2. I don't see it
yeah.
going further.
Yeah, that score that I have there, that 15, that's not accurate. That was an oopsies. So I am going to say I'm going to go 5. I
5.
don't think that this one can expand. More than that, you mentioned a claw machine, Lego claw machine. If that came out, okay, that's cool expansion, but it's not. It doesn't
Yeah.
partner 100% with this one.
All right, exclusive elements. I gave it a 7. Josh, I believe you gave it a what, a 15?
14. I doubled your
14?
7. I already mentioned. I think that there are some components you don't see very often with the balls, the accessories, the minifigs, and that sort of thing. The wide glass pieces. I think there's a lot of unique components here.
And now, most importantly, Your wow factor.
Wow. So, Minifigure Vending Machine has its pluses and minuses, its builds and things like that. But if we are looking at a set, this is a unique set. This is a set that I think has a lot of real world kind of function that you can use and adapt it to and kind of give it new life apart from the minifigures that it came with. Looks great on the shelf. I think that with the playability and displayability combined, this is actually one of my favorite sets from last year, despite the fact that I did not enjoy building it. Once it was done, and I continue to think about this one, I'm gonna rank it pretty high with WoW. I am gonna say 17.
Wow. Everybody in the comments. Wow. All right, so
Give us
my
your
wow factor,
best
it's
Owen Wilson.
it's the idea that when I walk into a room and I see this on a shelf, I'm gonna go, wow. I don't know why, but I got the stickers and or the printed bricks stuck in my head. Like I feel like you could have put like something like little fun of like how to take your minifigure out of the capsule, like a little instruction thing or something on the windows. Because that's how like all these capsule machines would be. But in terms of like the mechanics and putting in your Lego piece and turning it and actually getting a minifigure and being able to assemble it, that's really cool. So for me, I'm gonna give it a 13 as a wow factor. So
All
now
right.
we have our points. I gave it a total points. Sorry, excuse me. I gave it a total points of 140. Josh gave it a total points of 212, giving it a final total of 352 points. And that puts it at number three, 352 points for the minifigure
Wow.
vending machine set 21358. I gave it 140 points. Josh gave it 212. This is Josh's second highest rated set. This is my second lowest rated set. Isn't that something? And it's
That's a
now
really interesting swing between that, but I cannot believe that this is my second high. I mean, I can. It was one of my favorite sets from last year, but still, I don't. How did it get higher than the endurance?
I don't know.
Endurance didn't have minifigures. That's what it is. It comes down to minifigures, people.
See, this is what I'm
Yes.
saying is that you
Hmm.
don't know if you actually like a set until you break it all the way down. We talked about Twilight Cullen House. Josh thought it was going to get way higher than it did, and it didn't. This time, the opposite happened. Lego Minifigure Vending Machine got way higher than he thought it was going to happen this time.
It's interesting. Yeah. Well, tell us what you think
Yeah,
about the
give
minifigure
us
vending
your
machine
total
in the comments
points
below.
of how you ranked it,
Yeah.
and where it falls on your ultimate Lego leaderboard, board. But Josh, tell them what they can do.
Well, as we said, comment below. Let us know what you thought of this set. But also, don't forget to like, subscribe, follow us on Instagram. Let us know what sets you want us to rank in the future. We would love to hear from you. We would love to incorporate you into our ever growing audience. And yeah, tune in next time to see what we rank next.
Yeah, and with that, we have a lot more subscribers now than we did before. As just an aside, thank you for everyone that has subscribed. I think we have almost 170 subscribers now. So that's really exciting. Josh hasn't given you an update on the audience yet, but he will at some point in the future because he's ever expanding the seating section for said audience. And soon we might run out of minifigures. Unless
Tom,
Josh buys a couple more vending machines.
we have more subscribers than you gave points to that set.
Ah, that is true. Yeah, the Lego vending machine is a lot of fun, but it's not like a continuous amount of fun. But
Hmm.
it still falls at number three for our combined 600 points. Well, with that, my name's Tom,
And I'm Josh.
and you have been enjoying the Blockcast.
We're Lego fans. Click.
Bye, everybody.
Take care.